Welcome back. Our guest today is Sunshine Speers from Emerald Coast Hospice. We're talking about matters of the heart. Not only this month do we have Valentine's Day, but it's an awareness month that Emerald Coast Hospice is taking to point out all of the risks for heart disease, some of the things that you should be doing, probably even more that you shouldn't be doing. It's stuff that you've heard before, but it bears repeating. Sunshine, Emerald Coast Hospice, we've had the fortune of working with you a little bit, going to some of your events. You guys are always out there in the public from an awareness point of view, but more importantly from a service point of view, giving back to that community. I know you do a lot with the senior groups. This is American Heart Month. Have you got some special events planned that will focus on just that this month?
Yeah, actually we're going to be sponsoring, helping sponsor the Heart Walk at Doctors Memorial on February 24th.
And what is that exactly?
That is an awareness walk. People come out, it's going to be from 10 to 2, and essentially raising awareness about heart disease, helping people understand that this is a real problem. Fortunately, through the years, statistics show that, from 2003 to 2013, that the percentages of heart disease did decrease despite our high numbers that we still have, and all of that's through awareness. People being more, like you said, how do we know that we need to talk to our doctor about these medications and things, and that's all about education and awareness. And this essentially is one of those situations where we can go out and we walk there at the hospital, and we sponsor the DJ through Emerald Coast Hospice, and we're going to be able to go out there and work with them and let people know that we're aware that this is a real problem, and we want to continue to help educate and support those people who are struggling with this disease.
What day of the week is that?
It's on a Friday.
Friday, 10 to 2.
10 to 2, yeah.
Is that a tough sell, being a work day, or do you find that people make that effort?
This is actually personally my first experience with the Heart Walk, but I have talked to several other people who have participated in it with Emerald Coast Hospice. They have a good turnout. And again, it's just about making sure everybody understands that this problem is real. And I think they typically have a pretty good turnout. So we're going to try to make it a lot of fun too. Make
sure that you let us know, once we get closer to that. I'll try to put it on my calendar, but I'm probably not going to remember it after you leave the studio today. So if you'll let us know in an email, for instance, we'll see if we can't come out and maybe even do some interviews with people who come and maybe explore a little bit about that whole thing, and then we can help you promote it on the following year too. What else you got going on?
Well, in March coming up, we do have National Social Work Month. So we're going to be recognizing our social workers, not only at Emerald Coast Hospice, but the social workers that provide services to our communities. They play a vital role in helping those patients find the resources that they need to get the care that they deserve and live a higher quality life. So we want to obviously say thank you to all of them. And then we also had National Activity Professionals Month. We had a week this month. And so in our facilities, our skilled nursing facilities, we have a great group of people that provide activities for the residents there in the facilities. It's all about quality of life. It's all about making sure that they have the things that they enjoy. And so those people do a fantastic job making sure that our residents live the highest quality of life that they can, and they're able to do things that they enjoy doing. We provided some services or some things for them, took some treats out to them to let them know how much we appreciated them. And we like to continue to do that for people in groups throughout the year, to recognize them and let them know how much we appreciate what they do for not only our patients but the residents of those facilities, because again, it's about life and making sure that whatever time it is that we have is precious, and that we support that no matter what we do. So.
Your Chipley office is located in the old City Drug Building, right across South Boulevard from the courthouse annex. Mm-hmm. You're right next door to Council on Aging, and adjacent to that is the health department. Every time you do a cookout back there, you get all of those agencies who obviously work together every day anyway. They all come out. It's almost like one big family. If you're uninitiated into who is who and who works for where, you wouldn't know that you guys weren't all in the same office together. You enjoy a great relationship, especially with that Council on Aging next door, and you use their pavilion out back sometimes.
Absolutely, yes. And they've graciously allowed us to participate again, or to actually sponsor the next Veterans event this next year, so that we're going to try to make that an annual event. We had our first annual this last year, and it went very well.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to do that, do more of those type of events, and also continue that event. So.
Yeah, that was in November, and I was amazed to hear some of the stories. You always hope that you have a bigger turnout than what, no matter how many you get, you want more. That can only grow. Unfortunately, we're losing some of that older demographic of those veterans. Jeannie Betts lives right here in Chipley. She is a veteran of World War II. We've lost a lot of those people already. So hats off to you guys for recognizing them. Do you find that there is a willingness on the part of our more recent veterans, those recently returned from Afghanistan and Iraq, and do you find that they're as apt to participate as maybe our Vietnam or World War II veterans? And do you have a conduit to reach those people? I mean, sometimes it's tough to reach some of those pockets of people.
Yeah, I do believe that not as many of them are able to or willing to participate in things like that. And I think a lot of it's because it's so fresh for them, and they're just trying to get back to as what a normal life as possible for them. A lot of them, come back to families, they come back to full-time jobs, and we totally appreciate that. But despite the fact that they're not able to participate, we want them to know that we are so appreciative, and not only us at Emerald Coast Hospice, but everyone owes them a debt of gratitude. And whether it's this year's event or next year's event that they're able to come to, we want them to know that we appreciate all that they've done. Emerald Coast Hospice supports our veterans greatly. So we want to make sure that we support them, whether it be through, being on our service when they reach that point in their life, or, through community events. So despite them not being able to or not willing to participate, we want them to know that we do appreciate all that they've done for us.
I know that you also have at least an annual food drive. Trey Hawkins, who is now a Washington County Commissioner, helped out to some extent with your organization last year. Do you do that more than once a year?
We do it every August.
Okay.
That's a company-wide program. And so it is, we have two offices, actually through Emerald Coast Hospice. We have a Chipley office and a Mariana office. So we have a drive for each office, and then we donate to a local charity. So it all goes back to the community. And through the support of the community and our employees at Emerald Coast Hospice, we have a friendly little competition between our offices, and so it's a great thing. We have volunteers that participate, and it's something that we're able to do for our community, and that the community is able to do for itself, and to give back to each other. So that was a great experience. Last year was my first event with the food drive, and I really enjoyed it. So we'll be continuing to do that.
Your Chipley office, again, that old city drug building, it doesn't look that big from the outside. We've been in it several times. Man, you go back in there and there's all these little offices. There's a lot of people. How many people work in that building? Have you any rough idea? 30 or 40 people at least?
Yeah, I'd say at any given time, when it comes to how many people we might actually have in there at once, maybe 15 to 20, but we have roughly about 30 employees. But when it comes to overall for both offices, I think it's a little over 60 employees. And because we do, some of those positions are shared between the office, mine being one of those. So we have a great group of nurses and health aides and volunteers and chaplains and social workers. They all work together for the greater good, and it's so important. As I said before, hospice is about life, and despite what the first thing that comes to people's mind when they think of hospice is obviously death, and we do know that a person with a terminal illness is, at some point in time that disease is going to progress. But we want to make sure that life is the best it can be during that time, and those families receive all of that support. And we have a great group of staff that help do that. So.
Well, Margot Lamb heads up your volunteers, and she's been on the show before along with Amanda Harkrider. And we've talked about that volunteer, so we're not going to go into that, but let it be said that you could not do what you do without that large group of passionate volunteers.
Absolutely not. And we welcome volunteers of all walks of life as far as what they're willing and want to do, whether it's a clerical or whether it's directly with a patient or a family. We have lots of people who say, I want to help, but I don't know that I can help in that aspect, or that's not necessarily an area that I'm best at. And so we always work with them and let them tell us where they're most comfortable and where they feel like they could serve. So.
If somebody has a group of people, say a fraternal organization, that wants to find out more about your educational topics, in this case, heart health, what would be the best way for them to get up with you?
Okay, well, they can contact myself, Sunshine Speers. I'm the hospice admission education specialist. I'm an RN as well, and I can be contacted at 850-573-0697, or you can contact either of our offices. Our Chipley office is 850-638-8787, or our Marietta office is 850-526-3577.
And before we leave, one more time, at Doctors Memorial,
February 24th, it's a Friday, from 10 to 2. And we're going to be out there having a good time, walking, raising awareness for American Heart Month.
It's a free event.
It is.
Okay, so come on out to Doctors Memorial in Bonifay on the 24th of February. And again, it's called Heart Walk?
The Heart Walk.
The Heart Walk.
Heart and Soul.
Simple enough. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Let's don't make it as long next time. We really need you on more often. This is good stuff and things that people need to hear.
Okay, thank you.
Our guest today has been Sunshine Speers from Emerald Coast Hospice. And it's true, there is so much to learn, so much to be aware. All of these things people have said to you before, they've said to me 100 times, but unless it's said to me freshly on a regular basis, I don't pay attention. And sometimes we don't think about our diet or our lack of exercise as much. So programs just like this hopefully help you as much as they do me. We'll be right back.